What's going on, ladies and gents? Welcome back to another SLA video. All right, folks, we have ourselves a big update coming up in 3 days. That's right. The brand new drop of Jinnah is going to determine the fate of this game. I'm pretty sure, and it's a little disturbing, the results I got when I put up a poll recently. I'm going to share this with you guys and kind of talk a little bit about the poll. And the reason why I wanted to put this poll up is to kind of see where people's minds were at with this game, what people were thinking. And quite honestly, I've been affected quite a bit by this whole debacle. Obviously, my channel, which grew off of solo leveling Arise, kind of skyrocketed in the last few months when it first came out, and then it kind of just dipped slowly as the devs were making some bad moves. And I think to most recently, I feel like I'm a 1K content creator yet again. So it's an interesting phase for me, but also I wanted to kind of find out where the community's at and where people's mentalities are at with the game itself. So I put a little poll up here, and I mean, it got a decent amount of votes. Do you still play solo leveling Arise? Yes, daily 37%. No, I quit 38%, and sometimes but bored. So this right here, guys, is a shocking revelation in terms of where my personal community is at. Now, this obviously has affected everybody. We're talking about myself, Zaf, who's the second, the both of us are the two biggest content creators for this game at the moment. You can probably see other players as well, too, other content creators who have quit and other community members who have left. So this right now, I've made a video about this already, talking about the fact that this coming patch is probably the best patch to return. I really meant that. I think what the devs have done going forward in terms of the July 31st patch is exactly what we've been waiting for quite some time. But is it a little too late, right? And I think this is what I'm starting to notice. In my last video where I did tell people it's a good time to return, I think we saw just that, where a lot of people felt like this is now a little too late. And I want to again share this with you guys, and you guys can see right over here. Speaking of which, content creator program, guys, if you did forget to extend, we'll be back on the 30th. I think it's the 30th, so I will remind everybody to go ahead and support again to get yourself some fresh codes. There'll be brand new codes coming. But I want to go over some of these comments and kind of discuss some things and just, kind of share these sentiments with some folks. So right over here, my entire guild is dead AF. Vice Guild Master hasn't logged in for 25 days and the rest are inactive. So this is something that's common. Now, if you are somebody who is struggling getting a guild, or if you're somebody who doesn't have a home for this game, join my Discord. Also join Zaf's Discord. We have a combined guild where we're looking for, some of the best players out there to do high RCs. We have other guilds as well, too, that are more free to play friendly. And we have ones that are dolphin based. So we can definitely find you a home. But if you're somebody looking for a home, definitely join the Discord and that will help, right? And I mean, it still goes on here. Now there's still the rest of the collab dragging the game down. I'm passively logging in as a 4-month player. Very disappointing, but disappointed with this game. Might move on to something else. Even with these changes, the problem I would say is more fundamental, as in activities that you do at your disposal on a daily basis. This needs to be enhanced, change added, and I think they're doing their best to make the change to this one specifically, right? Because it is very boring to just log in and do the same things every day. But I always say that's the whole fundamentally of a gacha. The game had massive potential to be an actual amazing gacha game. Well, the devs actually listened to the player base for once. Probably more than half the players quit because of loading issues on the release, and other ones were bugs, and of course the banning, right? Banning was a big part as well too. The unjustified bans were a big part of it. So, bro, I'm going to quit when Overdrive was announced. There are 2 other games in development. I'm sure content will be snail pace anyways, even if this one picked up. Wish you guys the best of luck. So you guys can see lost interest a while ago. For the most part, they won't get another dime from me. When I start playing SLA, I play for straight hours now. I barely play because of boredom. I returned 3 months ago. I was a big spender like a dolphin. I wouldn't spend another dime on it. This seems to be the ebb and flow. And I'm curious, guys, like, after seeing this, has it been to the point where many of you guys have moved on? And if you guys have moved on, what have you guys moved on to? Because personally, I'm looking forward to this update. Like I could have moved on to another game at this point as well, because my views are nowhere near as what they used to be. But quite honestly, I am a big fan of solo leveling still. I'm a big fan of, the community. I still love everybody that I interact with on a daily basis. And I think it's a huge deal for me to continue covering this game until the ship sinks. I'm always going to be part of the solo leveling community and one of its biggest supporters. But I'm also a realist when it comes down to the fact that this game has lost a lot of players due to some really bad moves, specifically revolving around the fact that they introduced Overdrive. I think Overdrive really put a lot of people off, knowing that we were, kind of suffering a little bit from our end, and then seeing the fact that people were able to, I almost want to say people were able to be patient with the devs for a little while, because the devs have been generous, and then for them to turn around and randomly introduce this brand new concept of a game which uses the exact same, this is the sad part, assets as this game, and then tell us that there's a new one coming up for PC, and it kind of made people feel really pissed, and I don't blame them, right? And at the same time, I think Overdrive is, I think, the biggest mistake these devs have made. I think Karma should have been the one thing they introduced instead. I feel like if they had introduced Karma first, and not even focused on Overdrive, if they just introduced Karma and that's what the game we were expecting to play, I feel like the actual outcome of the negativity would have been a little bit more positive. And the reason why I say this is because at least Soul Leveling Karma is a whole different game. It's a whole different ball game, right? It's not the same game we've all been playing, just without the gacha element of it, from a pay to win perspective, of course, and the fact that it's only strictly on PC, but also because a lot of people were stuck around because they wanted to play the game on Steam. And then they turned around and made the game on Steam the Overdrive game, and people were like, wait a second, I didn't sign up for this. I have a whole account here for SLA, the regular Soul Leveling Arise, and now I can't even transfer my data over to Steam to play it, and they've been dealing with their mobile. So I feel like the devs made a lot of bad moves. Now, I think it's always good to have a redemption arc, right? There's always good to have a redemption arc. So after seeing the community's outlash, and the outroar about like how the game has been treated, how the devs have treated the game, and why people are disappointed, I totally understand it. I get it, and I'm totally on board with you guys with how the game has been treated to this point. After having such a massive success for the first, I'd say, 7 months. I think after Thomas, the first month after Thomas, I think the real big downfall started happening with the way Thomas was being treated over Kanae. And I think we all got over that, right? Because Kanae was great. We got a brand new boss. Beru came out. Jeju Island was actually fairly successful. But I don't think anything's really beaten up to WOBL Vulcan. I think Vulcan was the peak point of this game. And, unless the Architect really comes through here and destroys, all expectations and shatters all odds, I feel like the game is going to suffer a little bit going forward. And I'm hoping that, they can recoup some of the community members. And I always say that most games are revolving, like most gachas are revolving door. You guys have heard me say this many times. And I think the game will get a lot of new players coming in, but I don't think that's going to happen until we see either, number one, a massive national level hunter to come out with, a lot of marketing behind it, because that's another thing this game sucks at, is marketing. And number two, I don't think we're going to see a lot of people show up until we see the brand new the brand new anime season drop. Because once the new anime season drops, then I can see a lot of people being like, okay, you know what, I want to come try this game. I want to live in the world of solo leveling. And I think another part of that comes down to the devs need to kind of focus more on that world, right? They focus so much on original characters, these weird collabs that they wanted to do, that the part that people love, which is the solo leveling universe, has kind of been left out a little bit. And I'm really hoping that they go with the Architect coming out and all the brand new, Jinna coming out and all the brand new characters, new WOBL, that they go back to what makes this game, and that is good content, characters that are part of the manhwa, characters that people love and want to use, unique gameplay, and good modes, specifically content, right? Again, they need to, like I say this for every gacha game, characters don't drive gachas. Yes, it's called a gacha. But at the end of the day, characters that are only going to be used for 1 month for one piece of content and then not used anymore is not what drives the game. We need content that's going to make the game playable on a daily basis. Not like full-time playable, but at least like you're excited to log in and do something. There's a challenge there. So I think, guys, with the brand new Architect Battlefield of Trials, with the brand new Architect storyline, brand new WOBL coming, POS 10 was actually fairly challenging for a lot of free-to-play players. I finished it, but as free-to-play, but I had to put a lot of effort into it. And I can tell you right now, POS 10 going to POS 20, I feel like POS 20 is going to give more challenge to a lot of whales and dolphins. But again, is it enough to make people want to come back and play? After seeing the response, honestly, from the community, after putting that video out where I think it's a good time to come back, that might not be the case. Devs really have to put their best foot forward. And I think right now the main thing to do is to remind people why solo leveling was as successful as it was when it first came out. And honestly, guys, they need to market better. Marketing is absolutely trash when it comes down to solo leveling. I don't know what Netmarble is on, but you watch other games market their gotchas when a brand new patch comes out. You watch other games market their their product when brand new characters comes out. It is so hyped. There's full on trailers. We're talking about 4 or 5 minute cinematic trailers. We're talking about epic music, storyline development. That marketing machine needs to work really, really well for people to care about this game as much anymore. Because right now, as it sits, a lot of people, even though I think this patch is going to be an amazing patch, I think it's also might be a little too late. So let me know, guys, in the comment section if you agree with all my thoughts. If you don't, let me know what you guys think. This is not a negative video. I'm not trying to be. I'm still a huge supporter of solo leveling and the community. I love my community, but I feel like seeing the comments and seeing people's reactions to some of these videos and seeing just my own views drop immensely because most of my community have quit is a little bit disturbing, right? So I'm curious to hear what you guys have to think. Is this something that you guys have moved on from completely, or have you guys now consider coming back for the new patch that's dropping, or is solo leveling something you still play, as mentioned in the poll, very seldom, but you still play it because you've committed so much time? All right. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.